everybody, it's K9 with ETX Tactical and Survival, and I want to cover something today. I've been getting a lot of questions on what do I carry every day? What are some of the equipment that I use in my vehicle in order to bug out? And today we're going to kind of go over the basics of the stuff that I have. Just because I have these things doesn't mean that it has to be the same for you. It all depends on your life, what you need, what you want to be prepared for, and to the extent of it. So this is just a generic idea. It's not written in stone, but for the ones that are getting started and the ones that have been asking me this question, this is an excellent source for you. Stay tuned. Alright, before I start showing these items to you, I kind of want to cover the idea behind what you carry inside your vehicle when you're bugging out. Now, again, it depends on your life, how many people are in your family, whether it's just you and your spouse, your spouse and your kids, whatever the case may be. All of those things are going to determine exactly what you have with you in case you're bugging out. Now, it also depends on your vehicle. You don't want to have things so piled up that you can't do your everyday driving and seeing out of your rear window. So you want to be smart, you want to be feasible with it, and you want it to work for you. So, starting out, the main thing that I have is my B.O.B, my bug out bag. Now, I've gone through different stages. I've kind of upgraded several times on my bug out bag as I've gotten more equipment, more supplies, and it's grown to fit mine and my family's needs. I always carry my bug out bag. If I go from my vehicle to my wife's vehicle, I always switch these out and move it into whatever other vehicle I'm going to be in. Inside of my bug out bag, I have everything I need to survive, from food, water, emergency supplies, first aid kits, shelter, cooking utensils and supplies, pretty much everything I need. This is my life source, so this is going to go with me at all times, no matter what. Your bug out bag, again, is just like everything else. It's going to be based upon what you need. If you see, I've got my rope, my machete and axe, my IFAK. It's got everything I need. So if there's one thing that you absolutely make sure that you have in your vehicle when you're bugging out, is your B.O.B. Alright, everybody. The second item that I'm going to cover is something that to me is the number 2 priority to have in my vehicle. Now, it's up to you whether you want to keep it in your vehicle when it's locked and secured, or if you want to pull it out every single day. It all depends on you and depends on your supply and what you have. Again, all of this fits what your needs are. But the second thing is my weapons. The weapons that I'm going to use in bugging out. Now, in this particular case, this particular weapon is also my duty weapon. So, it's always going to be with me regardless. When you have your duty weapon, or you have your choice of bug out weapon, whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you have a way to secure it. Okay? And when I say secure it, I don't mean just having your car locked. Because we all know that's not always going to be enough. If you're able to put this in a locked toolbox, if you have a lock box, a hidden compartment that locks, you want to be able to secure it, but at the same time, make sure that you have quick enough access to grab and go. In this particular case, not only do I have my weapon, but I have everything that I need to maintain and fire it. From my earmuffs, cleaning supplies, repair tools, everything that I need. And another thing I keep with me is this particular box here is an ammo box. You can get those at Walmart in this size for anywhere between $7 to $10. I have different sizes, and this is actually 1 out of 4 that I keep with me at all times. Now, what I do as a rule of thumb is I have plenty of ammunition for my primary, secondary, and sidearm. And what I also do is keep at least 20 rounds of your well-known calibers. Even if I don't have that particular caliber in my armory. The reason why is because if you get into a situation, say Red Dawn or however the case may be, let's say you've run out of ammunition in your own weapon, but there's a weapon that, say, you've taken from your enemy or whatever the case may be, you at least have 20 rounds to be able to put in there to utilize that weapon until you can retrieve more ammunition for your own personal weapons. It's just a personal rule of thumb that I do. You don't have to do it, but it's always a good bonus. Alright, moving along. The next items that I always keep with me are going to be my vest. In my case, I train and utilize two different vests, sometimes together, sometimes separate. It just depends on what the situation is. The first one is my ballistic vest. Now, the type of ballistic vest is all up to you. I prefer at least a level 3 ballistic vest. Now, they come in all shapes, sizes, styles, from regular vest to concealed vest to mole tactical vest. It all depends on what your preference is. The prices range anywhere from $50 all the way up to $600. It just depends. Now, when I'm just using my ballistic vest, I'm not going to use my patrol tactical vest, then there's several things I want to make sure I have. First of all is communication. Every type of vest that I have a form of communication. That way I'm not having to waste time transferring from one thing to another, or if I have a family member that say needs to wear one vest while I wear the other, they're already set up to communicate back and forth. Now, another thing I have is always carrying some form of light source, flashlight. This particular one is a 1800 luminous LED flashlight, and of course some type of knife, whether it's a protection knife in self-defense or a utility knife. Whatever the case may be, I always have it on me at all times. And then of course I have a pouch for a cell phone. If situations permit it, I'm going to have a cell phone with me. I'm going to be real limited and choosy on how I do communication with that cell phone, but at the same time, if I can't communicate but it has GPS on there, then that's what I'll utilize. Now be careful with that, because just like you're able to access the GPS on it through your phone, the enemy could be able to access your location through your GPS. So always be careful with that. Now the second vest I carry is my patrol vest. If I'm wearing it both together, obviously these pouches will come off, and I'll wear this with this on top, and I just transfer everything onto this vest if it's not already there. But this particular one is a mole ACU. I'm hoping soon to change it out for a multicam, but this pretty much has everything I need to get me going. From 2 water canteens to a ammo pouch that carries my 12 gauge and my sidearm rounds, to my administrative pouches, to an extra magazine pouch, my radio communications. And then the great thing about moles is you can move the pouches wherever you want, but you can also add things that are not pouches. For example, chem lights, a compass, an extra set of rope, a knife, whatever it may be. That is why I love the mole system. Pretty much everything I have is based upon a mole system. So always I have these 2 vests with me no matter what. So that's pretty much the basic, guys. I'm not going to get into full details on these, as long as you understand the general concept. There are other items that I just don't care to pull out right now. For example, my ghillie suit, a couple other weapon bags. I've got a secondary, much larger IFAK kit. So it all depends on your vehicle, what you need, how you're going to use it, and are you able to utilize it in a proper manner. If you're trying to bug out quick and evacuate to, say, a safe zone, the last thing you want to do is carrying a whole bunch of stuff that's not feasible for you and looking like you're the tactical version of Beverly Hills Shopper carrying a whole bunch of shopping bags. So carry what you can. Don't overdo it. It's always good to have extra, yes. But if you can't utilize it, there's no point in carrying something that's just going to stay behind and possibly be handed over to your enemy. If you're choosing the items that you want in there, make sure that you train with these items. For example, the 2 vests that I have. I'm going to train wearing those 2 vests, throwing them on in a quick manner. Everything I can to make sure I'm prepared to use that in a split second. If I cannot do that properly, then I don't need to have multiple vests. So use what you train with and train what you have. Make it fit you. That's why we practice these things. So that way we ahead of time know what works for us, what don't. If it don't try to be Rambo and cram it. You want all this stuff to come natural. Now some stuff, yes, you will have to train and get adjusted to, such as carrying heavy weight. Now for us that's been in the military and law enforcement and fire department and so forth, we're used to carrying a lot of weight. So it's not so much a problem for us. But to everyday civilians, they're not used to it. So make sure that you're training with it. One thing that I do to get accustomed to all my gear is, say on the weekend, I throw everything on and I just spend an hour or 2 just walking around with everything on. Do a few exercises, squats, bending over, running. Can you do that? Now if it's a matter of physical ability, sometimes just getting better cardio and exercising will make a big difference in preparing. But don't overdo it. You don't want to be able to try to get away to your safe zone and bugging out if you're not accustomed to carrying that weight and you only make, say, 300 yards and you collapse from being unconditioned to it. So figure out what you need, what fits in your vehicle in your everyday life, train with it, get accustomed to it, and get it set up just the way you need it, where you can grab, set up, and go at a split second's notice. I hope this information was helpful. I hope I answered some of the questions that y'all had for me. If not, feel free to continue asking questions and I'll make sure that I address them. As always, stay safe, stay smart, stay alive, and God bless. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on our personal website, which I'll have posted down below. Leave your comments, support us,